Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're going to unpack a really fascinating source. It's a detailed report on NY Tech Week 2025.
Yeah, and looking at it, this event, well, it doesn't seem like just another conference week, right?
Not at all. It feels like it's signaling something bigger, a real strategic shift for New York City.
Mm-hmm. A pretty significant transformation, potentially.
So our mission here is to really dig into this report,
Okay.
pull out the key insights about NYC really stepping up its game in AI and robotics.
And the numbers alone are kind of startling. The report says over 1,000 events packed into 1 week.
Right. And more than half were specifically focused on AI and robotics. That's deliberate.
Exactly. It screams major play. Like New York, the finance capital, is making a serious conscious effort to become an AI capital, too.
What struck me reading this, though, is how the report frames it. It's not like NYC wants to be Silicon Valley East.
No, not at all. It seems much more focused.
Yeah, it's about leveraging New York's DNA, right?
Yeah.
Its deep roots in finance, media, healthcare, the university.
And applying AI and robotics into those existing powerhouses.
Exactly. The focus is really on applied tech, taking it out of the pure research lab and putting it to work in the city's core sectors.
Which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Use the city itself, its density, its industries, its capital. Use it as a living lab and the first customer.
Okay, so let's dive into the specifics the report pulls out. First off, just the sheer scale you mentioned. Over 1,000 events.
And not just the big official keynotes. A lot of it was community-driven, grassroots stuff.
Yeah, meetups, workshops, spreading beyond just Manhattan too. Brooklyn, Queens getting involved. It felt citywide.
And the variety within that AI focus was interesting. Okay, sure, LLMs, large language models, were huge. Deployment, monetization.
Always the big questions there.
Right. But also the report talks a lot about AI safety, governance, kind of the how do we do this responsibly angle.
Yeah, which is crucial.
Absolutely. Plus, autonomous agents, robotics, and those applications across different industries, media, finance, fashion even. It wasn't just one note.
That cross-sector thing really comes through. And the report names the heavy hitters who showed up. You had OpenAI, Anthropic, Stability AI. The big AI labs were there.
Doing like closed-door demos and things.
Seems like it, but maybe more telling for that applied focus you mentioned was the presence of major robotics companies. Figure AI, Sanctuary AI, and Dexai Robotics, which is more local.
Ah, Dexai, right. And they were demoing actual use cases.
Yes, the report specifically mentions humanoid robots doing tasks in logistics and food automation, showing the tech working in NYC-centric industries.
That's tangible, not just slides.
And it wasn't only the giants either. The source highlights startups getting real buzz. Hugging NYC, Modulus Robotics.
Harlem LLM Labs, too.
Yep. And it notes they were getting traction with VCs and enterprise clients. That points to a healthy ecosystem, right? Not just attracting big names, but growing new ones.
Which kind of leads us neatly into the specific AI trends the report goes deep on. It seems really clear that NYC's energy is very much about applied LLMs for businesses.
Totally. Lots of focus, according to the report, on tailoring LLMs for specific sectors. Finance, obviously. Legal, customer service.
Bloomberg GPT, got to mention, I saw, as an example of that sector-specific power.
Exactly. But what I found really interesting was the emphasis not just on the models themselves, but the tools around them.
Like the infrastructure.
Yeah, things like LangChain, Weaviate, Vector Hub. Basically, the plumbing developers need to build reliable AI apps inside complex companies. It's very practical.
Which connects straight to New York's obvious trump card. AI meets finance.
Yeah.
Fintech players like Plaid, Stripe, even Goldman Sachs' innovation teams were running sessions.
And the use cases sound pretty advanced. The report mentioned AI agents for predictive compliance, spotting regulatory issues ahead of time.
Wow, okay. That's high-stakes stuff.
And AI for credit risk modeling, managing tokenized assets with AI bots. It's clear Wall Street is going way beyond just experimenting. They're embedding this stuff.
And moving away from finance for a sec, the report also hit on AI in the creative fields, which makes total sense for New York.
Oh, yeah. Media, design, fashion, Runway, NUE Agency, Shutterstock Labs. We're showing off Gen AI stuff.
Like generating video.
Yeah.
AI helping write ad copy.
Exactly. And demos linked to the NYC Fashion Tech Labs, looking at virtual fashion, AI-assisted design. It's not just for spreadsheets and trading algorithms.
Definitely not. It's hitting the studios, too.
And speaking of concrete stuff, the robotics and automation angle was, well, huge in the report. Warehouse and logistics robotics got a lot of ink.
What kind of things specifically?
Things like autonomous pallet movers, sorting arms, using AI vision to pick items, smart delivery bots for navigating tricky spaces.
Hmm. And the report connects that to NYC's location, right? Access to East Coast hubs.
Yeah, it makes the point that NYC is kind of an ideal real-world testbed for that tech because the demand and the infrastructure are right there.
And the robotics push went beyond warehouses, didn't it? Into hospitality.
It did. That DexI Robotics, again, with robotic chefs for consistent food prep, and even pilots of humanoid robots as wait staff or concierges in some Manhattan spots.
Okay, that's pretty sci-fi, but also very visible. Customer-facing.
Right. And then healthcare. Soft robotics with AI, working with places like Mount Sinai, NYU Langone.
For things like prosthetics.
Yeah, AI-powered prosthetics that move more naturally, and elder care robots focused on, like, detecting emotions, moving safely to help people, even assisting with rehab. Very targeted, high-impact stuff using the city's medical expertise.
It feels like there's a real ecosystem connecting these pieces.
Yep.
It brings us to the role of policy and academia. The report stressed that, too.
Definitely. The city government, like the NYC Office of Technology and Innovation, was involved, announcing grants for AI safety, robotics, and public services.
Proactive stuff?
And I thought this was really clever, working with the NYEDC, the Economic Development Corp, to potentially turn empty office space into AI and robotics labs.
Oh, interesting. Actually building the physical infrastructure.
Yeah. And academically, you've got Columbia's AI Center, NYU Tandon, Cornell Tech. They're not just teaching, they're leading research.
In some pretty advanced areas, based on the report. Neural symbolic integration. Autonomous ethics engines.
Real-time LLM tuning. I mean, this is foundational work happening right there, feeding talent and ideas into the startups and bigger companies.
And where there's talent and ideas.
The money follows, right? The report shows a big jump in VC activity during the week. Big names like Union Square Ventures, A16 Zutz, Lux Capital were apparently very active.
Scouting, sponsoring pitch events.
And the numbers for deals actually done during the week are pretty wild, an estimated, $2.5 billion in term sheets? Across 40-plus early-stage deals.
Wow. That's serious capital flowing specifically into NYAI and robotics.
Plus, big companies signaling they're committed. Meta's AI research, Amazon Robotics setting up prototyping space in Queens, Samsung Next, LG AI research talking partnerships. Big tech clearly sees something valuable happening there.
So if you pull it all together, the report basically argues NYC has this unique strategic edge.
Right. It boils down to, 4 key things mentioned in the source. First, that cross-industry expertise, finance, health, media, design, all packed together.
Second, the city itself is a testbed. That dense urban environment for robotics.
Third, the talent pipeline from those top universities.
And fourth, just being close to the money and the clients. Wall Street, Madison Ave, the hospitals, government, they're right there.
So looking forward, the report's pretty bullish on NYC's prospects by, say, 2030.
Yeah, it paints a picture of NYC maybe becoming the top U.S. city for enterprise AI deployment.
A global hub for urban robotics.
And locking down its role is the biggest zone where fintech and AI merge.
Now, the report does mention challenges, regulation, inclusion, scaling infrastructure. It's not all smooth sailing.
Of course. But the overall vibe from the Tech Week report is that New York is consciously carving out its own path here.
Yeah, not just chasing trends, but setting a direction.
It feels less like direct competition, maybe, and more like defining a different kind of tech leadership.
Which really brings us to the main takeaway from digging into this source, doesn't it? NY Tech Week 2025, according to this report, wasn't just a moment. It was evidence of a real strategic pivot.
Positioning itself very deliberately.
As this place focused on applied AI and robotics, powered by its specific industries, its urban setting, and its access to capital.
It makes a strong case that NYC isn't just trying to copy Silicon Valley. It's building something different, leveraging its own unique assets.
A model where the tech gets developed and deployed almost simultaneously, woven into the city's fabric.
Which leaves us and you with something to think about, right?
Definitely. If New York is really leaning into these specific strengths applied AI across finance, media, healthcare, plus urban robotics, that deep fintech link, is it actually competing head-on with Silicon Valley?
Or is it creating a whole different playbook for tech leadership, maybe more specialized, more industry integrated?
And if it is a different model, what does that mean for how you see tech evolving in other cities globally? What other unique urban strengths could shape the future of technology elsewhere? Something to chew on.